Damn, so Tyson Fury's in trouble, huh? Tyson Fury's in trouble with some boar meat. What's it, wild boar meat? I guess back in the day, a couple of years back, when Tyson Fury got caught, using PEDs, before or after the Klitschko fight, UCAD obviously caught him, and he had to go in front of the board, and I guess, this farmer swore in that, he had sold, Tyson Fury, non-castrated boar meat, and that's supposedly why his, elevation of testosterone was so high. This is what was said. He ended up being suspended for 2 years anyway. Since he wasn't fighting for over 2 years, it was just retroactive. And this farmer now is coming out and saying that, he lied and he was doing it as a favor for one of his friends, and he was supposed to be giving $25,000, but they never gave him $25,000. And they just couldn't get, I guess that it was just something that he needed to get off his chest, and he just couldn't keep that secret, and people need to know what exactly was going on. So people all kind of like, this guy, he's in trouble. They're opening up an investigation that, Tyson Fury could end up having an 8-year suspension, and the only reason he got a 2-year suspension was because, of this guy's testimony. So people like, his career could be in danger, and that his career could be over. You know what I'm saying? This is besides the glove thing. Now you have this thing going on as well, and I hate to break it down to people, man, but nothing's gonna happen, dude. Absolutely nothing's gonna happen. People don't care. When it comes to certain fighters, people don't care what they do. Canelo Alvarez gets caught with clenbuterol in the system. Fails multiple tests. Has enough in his system where, in order for him to have had that much in his system, he would have to have eaten an entire cow to have that amount in his system. No one cared. He got a couple of months, suspension. Came back, got a big, huge deal from DAZN. Still doing his thing. No one cared. They don't care if there's a Charlo, and a Gatorade bottle, and they're wondering what there's in the Gatorade bottle, and people go haywire, they go crazy. They don't care if it's the Charlos, if they, miss it. I guess they, they didn't let, the people know where they were that one time, so they were in Houston trying to give them their test, but, they were somewhere else, promoting their fights. I think it was like in California. People went crazy over that. It was an atrocity. People get hyped up over things like that, but when it comes to certain fighters, even like a Tyson Fury, no one's gonna care. Just like they don't care about the whole glove thing. If that glove thing was someone like a Wilder or someone like an Earl Spence, they would care. But since it's Tyson Fury, they don't care. When it comes to certain fighters, they're not gonna care when it comes to these things. It doesn't even have to be this sport. It's kind of like in the NFL with a Cam Newton. Cam Newton stole a laptop in college when he was at Florida. He gets kicked out of school. He goes to a lower school, comes back to Auburn, wins the national championship, stops getting in trouble, comes into the NFL, doesn't get in trouble, a pillar of the community for year after year after year after year, but they consistently still brought up that computer. Consistently brought up that computer. Comes someone like a Peyton Manning, we then find out that Peyton Manning, physically, when he was getting therapy or whatever, and he physically forced his parts, onto a female's face. And in college, we find this out, and then his father, was trying to tell them, oh, just blame it on one of the, this color players. They find that out. They talk about it for about a week, and shoot, they stop talking about it. When they've been on this dude about something that he did in college, which is way far less worse than what this guy did, and they've been keep talking about it for 7 + 8 years. But you find out Peyton Manning did that, and it's whatever. You find out that Peyton Manning, when it came to Peyton Manning, Cam Newton, after they lost in the Super Bowl, him going up to Peyton Manning, shaking hands with his helmet on, walking away, pouting, doing interviews, things like that, and it was like the worst thing ever. They got on him, they were pissing on him, trashing him for doing it. But then it turns out, every single thing that he did, after that loss, was the exact same thing that Peyton Manning did after they lost to Seattle, when they got obliterated by Seattle. And when all of a sudden that started coming out and the media saw that, shoo, they went quiet about Cam Newton and the things that he was doing. Because when it came to, Peyton Manning doing all those things, they didn't care because it was Peyton Manning, and now they're making themselves look idiotic and stupid, so that's why they stopped. You find out someone like a Peyton Manning, HGH, supposedly it's HGH coming to his house under his wife's name, from outside of the country, and it's, just this random doctor outside the country, at the same time where he had this big, huge shoulder tear, and all of a sudden he comes back to Denver, signs with Denver, and it's just launching balls, just launching them, looking better than ever, but from a catastrophic injury, and he just says, oh, it's because his wife was getting, using it for therapeutic, what his wife would need HGH for, not to mention the fact that he would have to get it from basically almost underground from this random doctor from outside of the country. That happens, and we just, oh yeah, that's the reason for it. Yeah, pro NFL player coming off a massive injury and is looking incredible for some weird reason, incredible recovery. But no, that's the reason, because they don't care, because it was him. If it was someone like a Cam Newton that did that, oh, they would care. It would be a major story. But it wasn't him. A Conor McGregor, look at all the things. People get on Floyd Mayweather. How many times we hear, oh, this one incident from 15 years ago, how they keep showing it. Oh, this other domestic violence thing that he had a few years after that, but they keep bringing it up over and over and over and over and over again. Yet you see someone like a Conor McGregor will come up with assault charge after assault charge, are allegations against women, multiple ones, him punching dudes, punching old dudes in bars on camera, him, attacking a bus and grabbing a huge whatever thing, dolly, and throwing it out the window, injuring fighters inside of that particular bus. But it's Conor McGregor, so no one cares. It's cool. It doesn't matter because it's him. If it was somebody else, it would be a major issue. So back to Tyson Fury, it's the same type of thing. They don't care, man. And nothing's going to happen. I doubt UCAD's going to do anything. UCAD's already on funny business all the time. You can test positive for a stimulant, for performance-enhancing drugs. You can just go up to them and be like, oh, well, no, it's really this the reason why I had it in my systems. And they can just say, oh, okay, that's cool. And they'll give you a therapeutic use exemption for drugs that aren't even, given to you by doctors. But they'll give that to you anyway and let you just fight anyway. That's what they do. So, that's the board that they're going in front of. And not to mention all the money that's going to come out of this particular fight. All the money that's going to come from this next fight, from that Wilder versus Fury 3 fight. And, if Fury wins that particular fight, what they can do after that as well, when it comes to money, no one cares. They're not going to care. And they're going to just brush it right under the rug, just like they've done with all the glove stuff. They do not care. So everybody, that thinks that, something might happen to this man when it pertains to his career, looking at history, looking at the way things have gone, especially when it comes to certain types of fighters, he's going to be good. And nothing's going to be happening. That's the world we live in. That's boxing. And that's just life in general. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.